Hey, I'm Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in a game called Hegemony that I played with two other players just the other day. This is a heavy, kind of capitalistic simulation game or societal simulation game that can be played up to four players. We played it at three with the government acting, I think it's called the government, whatever the government, the state acting as an AI, and that was very easy to run. But each of the players had a different class. So I was the working class, another player had the middle class, and another player played as the capitalist, the elite, the ones that are building giant things but also spending a lot of money. And the game has a lot going on. One thing that impressed me about the game, though, is that despite how much is going on and how much we really needed someone to run the game, and fortunately we had an amazing person doing that in Tim, what you do on your turn is actually very simple. You're just, most of the time, you are choosing a card from your hand. In fact, always, you're choosing a card from your hand, and either playing that card for the ability on that card, and you have a unique deck of cards for your class, or you're choosing a card from your hand, discarding it, and taking a basic ability on an action checklist. So I was impressed by how streamlined turns were, given how much complexity was in this game. This is only a small portion of the board here, and the board grows as you play. Now, I was playing as the working class. The working class has a little extra power in terms of voting-related abilities. I had a bunch of cards in my deck related to impacting the vote. And so I'm a little biased here, but I think this was my favorite mechanism of the game, how the voting worked and how it impacted the game. There's a voting mechanism in the game where typically at the end of each round, but you can force a vote at times using your influence, you will have a vote. And you'll draw some cubes out of a bag based on your position, what you want to happen with these different areas of government and rule of law. And if you have more tokens than other players, then you win. And during this vote, before you actually start the vote, each player states what they want to happen. So you, as the person who initiated the vote, you can say, I think I was playing red. Well, no, I wouldn't want that. No, I wouldn't want that because you can only adjust things by one slot. So there are 3 slots here on these voting tracks. So I was trying to adjust things from this capitalistic friendly area to a more working class friendly area. The middle column is really for the middle class, but I was trying to move it towards the leftmost column, which is for the working, or most benefits the working class. And so after I would state that, other players could say if they agreed with me or if they didn't, if they wanted to support the vote or not. And when you draw cubes out of the bag to indicate the votes that are being cast, all votes that for the players that support the endeavor or support the vote go in the yes column, and all others go in the no column. And in this way, this is really interesting at this point in time because at different times you might support different measures, especially if you are in the middle. This player had, I think, the middle class had the most interesting decisions to make because at certain times they might want things right in the middle. Well, typically they want things right in the middle, but if you're working on the extremes, sometimes they might want the vote on one extreme more than the other. So they are working with different players at different times, which I thought was interesting. The drawing cubes out of the bag and the different times that you can add cubes into the bag, it happens automatically at the end of each round, and also happens when you play certain cards that influence the vote. That was really cool. But then it wasn't just a vote. So there are other games with voting systems. And there are even other games with voting systems where you implement rules that impact the game from now on. But this really had a huge impact on the game. You can see there's this whole chart here, and these are indicating, like this is taxation, labor, I can't read that one, welfare state, welfare state education. So this is welfare state healthcare and benefits. All these things, depending on where the marker is currently, based on the last vote, have a big impact on a certain aspect of the game. It impacts how much healthcare costs, how much education costs. It indicates how much you'll be taxed. Indicates the minimum wage, labor laws. It has a huge impact on the decisions you're making in the game. There are even 2 other areas over here that I can't remember what they were about. Immigration and one other one that I can't read. But there are 7 different areas that you can vote on, and they impact the game on an ongoing basis from then on. So I really liked how the voting mechanism itself was interesting and led to a little bit of negotiation or table talk, but it also how much it impacted the game afterward, after you had the vote, and really had a big impact on how I was able to succeed or fail in the game as the working class, and how other classes were able to perform as well. So yeah, I really like this voting mechanism. I really like the ongoing repercussions of it. Really, really interesting system. If you've played Hegemony, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, or if you can think of another voting system with an ongoing impact, I'd love to hear your thoughts about that in terms of another game as well in the comments below. Thanks.